Hi guys, welcome to this session on Excel hot tips, time saving tips. I'm going to start at the top with a feature called Flash Fill. So I've got a list of emails there. I want to take off the first name and the surname from each of those. So in this yellow area I've typed an example at the top, my name with a space, that's what I want. And I just simply highlight that list and do Ctrl and E, and that will use the Flash Fill feature to bring that down. If I do that again on this little list, so this list is all in separate columns, I want them all to be in the same column. I have to type an example. So Steve Saxton's sales, that's what I want. I highlight the three, I do Ctrl E, and they're dropped in. Next one, I've got two dates in these two cells. The first one is the today function equals today, that is the computer clock, so to speak, just displaying the date. The one below is equals now with an open and close bracket at the end. That is the computer clock as well, but also displaying the time. These are dynamic. That means tomorrow that will say the 26th, and if I saved this file or reopen this file, that time would change. It doesn't actually change while you're looking at it, but it does if you do save or you close the file and reopen it. Now I'm going to go down some key commands, some common key commands that I use. The first one being Ctrl and W. If I do Ctrl and W, that is a key command to close this file down. It actually means close window, and it is an office key command, so you can use this in Word and PowerPoint. Now when this box comes up, it's got save and don't save and cancel, all the normal features. But if you look at the S on the save and the N on the don't, those two letters are underscored, which means you can actually just press that letter to do that action. Now I'm not going to do either of those, but if I didn't want to save this, I could just press N on the keyboard and then that would get rid of this file, or S and it would save it. Now the difference between Ctrl W and going up to the top there and clicking the cross in the corner is that sometimes if it's the last file you've got open, you accidentally come out of Excel, and that may be not what you want to do. By doing Ctrl W, you will never come out of Excel. You'll still be in Excel. You'll still be at the same place you were, wherever you were on the network. So if you've navigated away from your default folder, you would still be there. If you close Excel down accidentally, you are back on your default folder when you open Excel, and then if you haven't got a shortcut to where you were, that's a bit of a time penalty you're going to have to get back to the folder you were in. Now Control A, it says there selects the whole sheet or set of data. So if I click into a little table there and do Control A, it just selects that table. If I click into this table and do Control A, it selects that table, and that one selects that table. But if I'm in a blank cell and do Control A, it selects the whole sheet. So it's a very flexible key command, that one. Then you've got undo, so I'm just going to type some stuff, press enter on that, and then do Control Z, undo. Again, that's an office key command. And then Control Y will redo. So Z is undo, Y is redo. Now if I just type some sense there, my name, the next one there says D. I use this quite often. Control D just repeats what's above. If I come down, I can do Control D and so on and so on. Now the next one there says spacebar to select, Control and spacebar to select the column. So if I click there and do Control spacebar, it selects the column. Control spacebar, it selects the column. Control spacebar, it selects the column. And then we've got Control and semicolon, which is the date. Now I've shown you these two dates, which are both functions, but if I use the key command Control and semicolon, it gives me the date, but this date is like a date stamp. It's not like this. This one will change. This is dynamic. This is a date stamp, and I do use this key command quite a lot. If I want the time, I need to do Control Shift and semicolon, and it will do the time for me, like that. These will always be as they are showing there. 25th, 10:14. They will not change. These two will change. Now I've got several sheet tabs there. If I want to move across the tabs quickly, I can use the Control key and page down or page up to move through these sheet tabs. Control keys down, and just pressing the page up or page down options. Now this next one is to use the Control key while you're doing the autofill feature. So if I just put today's date in this cell, so I just did Control semicolon, when you use the autofill feature to pull down Excel automatically defaults to incrementing by 1 day. Now sometimes that isn't what you want. Maybe you want the same day all the way down. You can copy and paste, but you can also do this. Hold your control key down, you see the little plus appearing. Now if I let go, that's all going to be the 25th. Now again, that's the control key to copy is a Windows key command, so that works in all the applications in Windows. Just delete that off. Now next one is using the F11 function key to create a chart. So I've got some data here, so I'll highlight this, and then I'm going to do the F11 function key, which will create the default chart, which in this case is a column chart. Now that's not a new feature, that's been around as long as I've been teaching Excel, which is quite a while. But it's quite quick. If you're in a rush, you need to select the data and just do F11, just do it again, and then you get that. Next one is F7 spell check. So again, I've got some data there. I'll spell check this. F7 function key will do spell check. That's another Office key command. So you press F7 in Word, it will do spell check. In PowerPoint, it will do spell check. I think it's a lot easier to remember F7 than trying to remember whereabouts on the ribbon the spell check is, or if you've put it on the quick access toolbar, you've got to go and click up there. So F7 is just a quicker way. Click OK to that. Now the next one there is using the F4 function key to make a cell absolute. So I've got a little table here with the VAT amount. So I want to know what, let's just move that over there because that's meant to be there, I think. If I type equals that cell times the VAT, if I was to pull that down, I would get an error message because it would just pull down these blank cells. So I need to $ or lock or make absolute F11. Now the key command to do that, I could type it, but the key command to do that is the F4 function key. So I just press the F4 function key and click the tick, and then I'm able to pull that down. All these cells are looking at that 20% cell. If that 20% changed up, they would recalculate, and if ever, which is probably never, if it went down, it recalculates as well. Next one is F1, the function key F1. That's just to get help. Again, that's an Office key command. I'll just get rid of that. And then the last one there is Alt Enter for wrap text. So if you're typing away and you want to wrap text and you haven't clicked on wrap text on the top, you can do Alt Enter as you go in, and Alt Enter will wrap the text. Like so. I'll just undo that because it's messed up my sheet. Now the last thing I want to do is this bit which I missed out. Hold the Shift key while inserting a column. If I highlight that column, because I've decided I want the age column to be at the beginning, in the past if you just move that and drop, it comes up with this message saying, do you want to replace the data? No, I don't. So what you'd maybe do is insert a column. If you weren't going to put it at the very beginning, you're going to put it in between section and ID, for example. That's where I will put it. I would need to make a space and then put it in there. But now if I just do this with my Shift key down, there's where it is. If I say I want to put it there, now if I let go, it just moves it there. So I just held my Shift key down, but I did have to highlight the whole column, and then that worked quite well. I hope they've been of use to you guys. There's some of the time-saving tips that I cover on my Intro to Excel course. If you want me to do some more, please comment below and I will endeavour to do some. But thank you for your time.